Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shawn here with Accelerators Organization, ready for another mentor session, answering your questions that you have submitted through the mobile application or through the web portal. Let's get this thing going here. Okay, the first question comes from Jennifer Kale, and Jennifer says, how do I demote my operations manager back to assistant? I own a bookkeeping firm and promoted my assistant to operations manager. After a few months, I realized that the promotion is premature as this is not the right skill set for the individual. Okay, I've got about 9 or 10 mentors answering this for you. And hold on, I'm going to check and see if this is recording. I'm getting some sort of weird thing on my screen here. So give me 1 second. It is recording. So here we go. I don't know what. It's got a weird thing showing on the screen here. All right, I've got about 9 or 10 mentors answering this one for you. This one is, okay, so first let me say that in the beginning stages of hiring as an entrepreneur, you start to get the understanding of why we as mentors that have built larger organizations, like 20 plus employees, why we will always say, and you'll hear every CEO of every large company say that the hardest thing that we do as managers and leaders is managing people and leading people. Learning how to hire, onboard, train, lead and manage, retain, that whole skill set is a new skill set for us to develop as leaders. And it never goes away because people change over time. And we have to continually update our skills to know how to navigate the human resources part of our business. So notwithstanding the mistake of hiring the person and putting them in the wrong role, what I learned when I was starting my last company was to be very careful giving people a leader, manager, supervisor type of position when we're not sure if they know how to manage people yet. And we're still kind of learning that process. To answer your question directly, all you have to do is have a conversation with this person and just say, this was my expectation. We tried it out. It didn't work. Here is the role that I have for you. Do you want it or not? I mean, that's kind of the simplicity of it, but every issue that you have with a person can be resolved with clear, concise, direct, frank conversation. That's what we do. And the more you can learn to embrace having those difficult conversations, the better you're going to get at them. More repetition, more practice, the better you're going to get at it. What I always say is know exactly what you want, the outcome of the meeting that you're going to have or the conversation that you're going to have. Know what outcome you're looking for. Present facts, present data, and then we can never be in control of what the other person is going to think or feel. We have to just let that happen. And then we have to learn how to pivot during that conversation based on the reaction of the other person. But to answer your question, a conversation is how you do it. Now you just have to decide what role you want them to play, what the compensation is, what the activities they're going to be doing, what skill set they need to have, how they're going to report back to you, just like any role that you're going to hire for your company. Okay? I hope that helps. Okay, the next question comes from Ricardo. And Ricardo says, how can I start developing investor partnerships? The background is I own a barbershop business and eventually I'd like to scale into another location within the next 12 to 24 months and might need an investor. What would you suggest for me to prepare and how to find potential investors? Okay, I've got a bunch of different mentors answering this one for you. With your time horizon being 12 to 24 months, I'll tell you this, knowing the barber industry as much as I do, I can't imagine that you're going to need an investor to open up a second location. Because if you can learn how to run that first location strong enough to where you can pull yourself, you've got enough barbers that you can pull yourself out from behind a chair, then that means that you can have one location fully self-supporting itself with a manager, full team, revenue, and then you can go lease a new space, be the first barber, maybe take one of the barbers with you and be able to self-fund the expansion of a second location. I really don't think in your industry an investor is going to be needed if that 12 to 24 months is your horizon. Now, the second thing is, in order to attract an investor, you're going to have to know what kind of returns you can provide to an investor. And so you're going to need a good 2 to 3 years of really strong financial statements in your first business. And I think that an investor is going to want to see that you're going to be able to do the same thing with a second location. I have talked to my barber about this. I have spoken to other barbers in the industry through different speaking engagements that I've done. And generally speaking, there's most of the barbers that open up locations are not getting any type of investors. I think in your industry, the return on investment for an investor is just not there. So if I was going to look for investor partnerships, I might look at other barbers that are looking to expand and maybe going into partnership with them. Maybe you put in some capital, they put in some capital. Maybe you bring your brands together under one brand or something like that. But I really don't think the numbers hold up that an investor would be looking for a return that you would be able to provide them enough return to invest in a barbershop. Just my opinion. But to give you some places to look for investors, that would be an angel investor. Man, that's a tough one, Ricardo, because I just don't think anybody's going to be, I'm not going to try to make anything up. I don't think anybody's going to be interested. It's going to be somebody that you might know in your network that has a lot of money. But I just don't see somebody investing in a barbershop. It's just not a high enough return on investment. There's way other stronger return on investment opportunities out there in the world than a barbershop. Just food for thought. I'll ask around, but that's my answer for right now, okay? Okay, the next question comes from Rohit. And Rohit says, how do I deal with a sibling in business? I'm having issues with my brother in getting work done. It's like he depends on me what has to be done when I've told him to write out your tasks. Seems like he's got an employee mindset and needs to be told what to do. He's the CEO of the company and I can't be CEO because my credit is not good in case I ever need funding. I can't baby him or watch over him when I've got my own things to do. I have talked to him about this before and things change, but now back to his normal state again. I am worried when store comes if he'll put work in without me being there or making decisions on his own. I can't let him hold me back from doing things I want to do in my life. Okay, I've got about 5 mentors answering this for you. So listen, Rohit, I have talked to you numerous times. I've met you in person. This is a constant struggle and battle that you face all the time. Like, I got to give you some tough love that you seem to do nothing but complain about everything and everyone in your life. It's becoming like a broken record. And I get it. You're in a really tough, sticky situation in that you can't do things because of your current situation. But maybe being a business owner with your brother or any other type of person isn't the path that's going to be the right path for you. This just seems to be something you keep going over and over and over again. And it's like we keep giving you advice, and then it always just keeps coming back to the same exact thing. So I've been through this situation. It doesn't matter if it's a family member or if it's a partner or anybody. If they will not do what they're supposed to do in the company in which you are a partner, then get out. Like, It's never, and I mean never, going to get any better. Maya Angelou says, when people show you who they are, believe them. That is one of the best things we can learn as individuals. Your brother is showing you who he is. You want him to be something different. He's not. This is all your fault. You are expecting someone to be something you want them to be, and then you're getting frustrated that they won't be who you want them to be, and they're just being themselves. That is a recipe for a massive disaster in your relationship with your brother or anybody that you try to make them be what you want them to be. If you are stuck because of your situation that you have to be in a partnership with him, then just tell him to be the name on the piece of paper, but that you will do everything. You don't need him to do anything except for be the name on the thing for credit or whatever it might be, but you will do every other piece of work. If he decides at some point that he wants to do some work, great, but don't expect it. It's just as though you're doing the business all by yourself, just like a lot of us in AO are doing the businesses all by ourselves. You just have your brother on there for paper, as you said. So just let him be there for paper, and then you do all the work. Quit expecting him to do anything. He's the one doing you a favor by being on the paper and being the CEO. And now you're making him feel bad about being what he wants to, and he's the one doing you a favor. Do you see what I'm saying? I have watched over the years people that have these conflictive partnerships, whether it's family or otherwise. People will not do what they don't want to do. And your brother is showing you what he does and doesn't want to do. Take the pressure off and just do it yourself. It's not like you guys are doing a lot of stuff right now anyway. So what are you complaining about? Just go do it. You've got plenty of time. And then you just have a good conversation with your brother and say, what do you want to do? What do you want to have happen? What role do you want to play? I just want to make sure we have clarity and understanding so that I have realistic expectations of what I need to be doing as a role and what you're going to do. And then if he tells you this is what he'll do and then he doesn't do it, then he lied to you. And then you have to make a decision whether or not you're going to stay in it. But you're in a very tough situation, as you know you are, but you did the same thing with your girlfriend, your brother, like everybody. You want to try to change them into something you want them to be, and that's not how life works. You're only going to frustrate yourself further if you keep trying to control people and change them into something that you expect them to be. You just stay focused on you being the best thing you can do, the best that you can be for your business. Surround yourself with the people that are going to be on the same mission and vision as you. And if they're not, cut them out. Your brother, don't cut him out of your life. He's family, but just say, you know what, maybe we don't need to be in this partnership. Or would you mind just staying on as a piece of paper, but I'll do all the work, but you're not going to get any money. Or I'll give you 5% of the profits, work it out on paper. He may be the CEO, he may be 51% owner, but he's only going to get 5% of the profits because you're going to, take out the rest. Just work it out so that you're not trying to expect somebody to be something they're not. All you're going to do is continue to frustrate yourself. I feel for you. I've done that before in the past. It was a huge mistake, caused a lot of stress on me. When I got to a point where I finally just said, forget it. I will do everything myself. I don't need anybody else. I was so much happier. Okay? All right, man. Hope that helps. We got some other mentors answering this one for you. I just know you a lot better, so the other mentors might not be able to give you a lot of context that I've given you. Okay, the next question comes from Kristen, and Kristen says, what are the key documents needed between a vendor and a buyer after agreeing on a sales order? Background is I'm a vendor for golf apparel selling to retail buyers. I have 1 year of sales. I sold to trusted friends and family my first year. I learned that I need to create a credit application for them to fill out. What else is needed when I start selling to retailers? Do I need a specific contract agreement when closing? What do you recommend overall, including other ways to protect myself in case of potential incidents? Kristen, I'm not sure. Like, My understanding is that you have some apparel and you want to sell it to some golf shops, let's say. I think the only thing that I would need from them is for them to fill out a purchase order form, give me the form of payment, understand what the payment terms are. There's not a lot of complicated contracts that need to come into this. I honestly don't know anything more than that. I would have documentation of here is the proposal for what you're ordering. It's an invoice. They sign the invoice. The payment terms might, you're going to spell out what the payment terms are. You're going to deliver. They're going to pay you. I don't know what kind of contracts or vendor terms that you might need with that. I don't know. I might need a little bit more information if there's something a little bit more complicated than that I'm missing. I do have some other mentors that are going to answer this for you, but I just don't know if that is maybe enough information. I don't know. I don't know that kind of business well enough personally. Like I might go to the golf shop and just say, hey, listen, if I was going to, I'm brand new to this business. When you buy shirts or apparel from another one of your vendors, what does the paperwork look like? There's got to be at least one golf shop that you have a pretty strong relationship with that knows you, that you're just starting out, that you can go to and say, hey, John, I'm new at this. What paperwork do you sign with other vendors that you're going to buy apparel from? And then just tell them to give you a copy of it and just rip it off and duplicate it. Just duplicate the exact same thing that somebody else does that the golf shops know as part of the standard protocol and just go from there. That's what I would do. Okay, next question comes from Eric. And Eric says, what are ways that we can have our team members earn our/my trust in the field to focus on the work and not take advantage of time? I feel like team members will take advantage working independently when not watched. The background is we're in the business of giving people their homes back from the invasion of rats. Our team members execute the processes in the field individually with a schedule. I've been told by 2 team members in the past that I/we don't trust our team members because we had trackers in the vehicles and I questioned them on time management. I've seen them stop at their home, grab food in between accounts, pick up pets, etc., all on company time in our company vehicle. I've got about 10 mentors answering this one for you. So what comes to mind with me is this. If I meet with my team members somehow each morning before they're dispatched to go do their work, all I really care about is here are the 1, 2, 3, 4 jobs that you have to go do today. Here are all the tasks that need to be done by the end of the day. If they get it done by the end of the day, and it makes my company a profit, we're productive, we're taking care of our customers, we're doing the things that we want to do, I really don't want to micromanage them and look at anything and everything that they do. I like, it would make me uneasy, if somebody was micromanaging me like that. Like these trust issues, like this is pure, this feels very negative and a negative to me. As opposed to it being taking advantage of your time, why don't you look at it as, are they achieving the projects and tasks that I want them to do within a day? Yes or no? And if they do, who cares if they stop for 15 minutes and do nothing? Like as long as they're getting their job done, that's all that really matters to me as a business owner. So the thing to look at there is are you giving them enough to do to where they don't have time to do other stuff to meet the demands of their job? Or are you giving them too much? This is where you could have good communication with your team and just say, hey, here is your role. Your job is to do X per day. I know that can be done because I've done your job before. As long as they get it done, they get it done. I almost feel like maybe you're thinking, I'm reading into this, maybe you're thinking, I might give them 4 tasks to do, but while they're not doing those 4 tasks, if they get them done, there's all kinds of other stuff that they could be doing while they're on the clock. Well, that makes sense too, but I would make it project or activity based and make it so that they feel that it's fair to them, fair to you, and that they're just being productive as part of the team. So if you just lay out more about what they need to do on a daily basis and then worry less about what they do with their time in the company vehicle, focus on the end result, not how they get it done. Like a lot of times when I was in this situation where I felt like people were taking advantage of my time, I said, I don't want to stress like this. If they get this done in a day, I'm happy. I don't care if it takes them 4 hours of their 8-hour day or 2 hours or the whole 8 hours. I'm going to base my projections for my company based on what I want to do each month and each quarter and each year. And as long as they get this done, they get it done. I'll give you an example. So with my salespeople, I had monthly goals and quarterly goals and then annual goals. I told them, I said, listen, if you meet your monthly goal by the 16th of the month, take the rest of the month off. You're still going to get paid your salary and because that's what your quota is. Your quota is what you have to do in a month to get paid your salary. So if you reach your quota by the 16th of the month and you want to take the rest of the month off, I don't care. They thought I was crazy. I just basically said, if all my salespeople reach this quota in the month, because I have to know what I want them to do because I'm doing my projections, I'm happy as a business owner because we're growing, right? But I said, if you get it done by the 16th, you got your quota done. But now if you work the rest of the month and make more, you got incentive bonus. So if you want to make even more money, then keep working. But if you don't, take the rest of the month off. You got a little bit of customer service stuff you got to do, but take the rest of the month off. They thought I was crazy, but they still did more work because they wanted to make more money. So maybe it's the same thing with your team members. You say, hey, listen, here's what you have to get done for the day. If you get it all done, I'm happy. You're doing your role. You're getting the work done that needs to be done. If you get done by 2:00, you got the rest of the day off. So just kind of maybe look at it that way. When I see you next week, we can talk about this more because this could be a longer conversation. But nobody wants to feel like they're being monitored like a kid. That just creates negativity. If they're not getting the things done that they should be getting done in a day, that's when we might want to shadow them or maybe put the vehicle trackers, as you said. But they know, you guys should both be under agreement what can and should be possible to get done in a day. And if it's not, if they can't get it done, they should be communicating with you during the day or the following day, be able to give you a reason why. And you know your business well enough intuitively that if somebody's lying to you or is slow and you know they're taking advantage of time, and you're probably going to you're going to free up that person's future anyways. So that's what I would say is treat it more like, are they getting done what they need to get done that day? And if so, be happy. All right, got a bunch of other mentors answering that for you. Okay, the next question comes from, I want to say it's a Dalen. Dalen, please let me know if we're pronouncing that correctly. Dalen. Dalen says, what are the first steps I need to do in order to start my business? The background is I want to start a business for leather work gloves. The difference with mine is that the stitching will be on the outside and not the inside. I got this idea from the auto racing industry. Having the stitching on the outside makes the glove significantly more comfortable and allows for the user to have a better feel as if you aren't even wearing gloves. At this point, this is only an idea. I don't have any experience in creating a business, so my question is, how do I get started? I apologize if this is a generic question, but that's where I am right now. Thank you for insight. All right, I've got about 9 or 10 mentors answering this for you. No reason to apologize. That's what we're here for, is to answer questions. So the first thing I would do is I wouldn't even worry about getting an LLC. I wouldn't worry about doing anything other than starting to work on my prototype of my glove. You have to decide, just speaking off the top of my head, we talked about this a little bit on the phone. You got to figure out what material you want, how to find somebody who can design, who can sew the glove, and who can start getting you prototypes. That's the first thing. The next thing you could do is you could start trying to do a little research on your own. It'd be worth it to get a patent attorney if you could afford one, but maybe starting to see what you could do, if possible, to get a patent on your glove. I imagine that could be very expensive. trying to figure out if you can get the patent. But ultimately, when it comes to developing products, physical products, key to the success of that product line many times can be patents, whether it be design patents or any other type of utility patent or something. So if you can start doing some research on patents for your type of glove, that'd be great. But you probably need to get somebody who can draw the glove, which would be a CAD artist, probably a CAD. There's CAD artists. You can find CAD artists on Upwork, upwork.com. You're just going to basically say, I need to start designing a glove. And then that's it. That's all I would work on right now. You got to figure out the design of the glove, what fabric, what stitching, and then start working on the prototype. Then once you have the prototype, you can start submitting that out and getting manufacturer bids and all that type of stuff. But right now, step one, get a prototype. That's it. You don't have to worry about getting a business, a bank account, a LLC, nothing. Do it as a self-employed individual and just start going out there and getting your prototype done. That's what I would do. Anxious to see what the other mentors say. And I would start ordering a ton of other gloves so that you can kind of see all the different fabric and doing research on what that fabric is, what those other gloves are made of to help you in that decision. I'd order like 10, 15 different types of gloves from different manufacturers out there and start comparing so you can try to narrow it in on the exact fabric, the exact stitching, the exact feel, all that stuff. Okay, sounds super fun. Okay, the next question comes from Robin. And Robin says, how much should I charge for a print that costs $7 plus time to create the original? The background is art for calm. I want to keep my prices down to sell quantity. I wonder if I'm selling myself short because I'm not charging enough. Thanks. Thank you so much. Well, you're asking about pricing, so we don't know how much you're charging right now, but aside from the amount of time that it would take for me to do the original, which I would keep the original to sell as an original, which would be $500 to $1,500, $2,500, whatever it might be, I would set aside that time because once that design is done, that's the cool thing about art. You can keep popping out, prints. So let's just say it costs you $7. If you are going to sell them, I would probably say if it costs you out the door where you're going to hand somebody that item and your total cost of goods sold, your cost is $7 to give that to sell somebody, I would probably sell it in the beginning stages direct for at least $14.99. That's what I would do. If I was going to sell it online, maybe $19.99. And that is just an arbitrary number. As you grow, you may look to readjust your pricing, but I would at a minimum double your cost. So if it's $7, I'd go to $14.99. If it's $3, I'd go to $6.99, something like that. Okay. Because at those small numbers, there's a lot of time involved with making those sales. But as your sales volume grows, it's, those margins are going to be really nice for you. Okay. So that's what I would do. I would mark it up at least 100% plus maybe 99 cents. And I would have different options. I'd have small, medium, and larger sizes across the gambit to offer, as opposed to just one size. But that's what I would do. I'm anxious to see what the other mentors would say about that. I'm sure the more accountant type of mentors would have a formula and all that stuff. But as a small business owner, and I'm just getting out the door to start making some sales, I think of like selling CDs out of the back of my car. I might buy them for $2 and sell them for $5. I just want to move as much inventory as possible. And art is such a subjective type of product to sell that most people, if it's inexpensive enough and they just want to support you, they'll pull out a $20 bill. They'll pull out a $10 bill. They'll pull out a $10 bill and a $5 bill. Also, you want to make it easy that if somebody wants to pay by credit card, you might want to always carry around one of those little Stripe devices that can connect to your phone. So that if somebody says, hey, yeah, I'd like to buy one, but I don't have any cash. Hey, no problem. I got my Stripe machine here. Boom, swipe your credit card, you're good to go. So you want to make, I think for you and your situation, it's going to be all about the impulse purchase and the ability for you to make it as easy and seamless and fast to transact on the sale. That's what I would say. Okay. All right. I hope that helps. That was today's mentor session. As always, check your mobile application if you asked a question, because you're going to get your answer in the mobile application. And then we will also send out the entire replay in the mobile application. And now you can actually search by mentor sessions. We will actually have a list of all of the, starting today, there will be a list of all the questions that were answered in the mentor session in the actual post in the mobile application. We're really making things a lot easier for you to get help and get information and knowledge. All right. Hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Peace out.